Happy morning, students. Today we are going to discuss about another important topic in your 10th biology, that is blood pressure. In short we call as BP. First of all we need to know what is blood pressure. Okay. Just you people listen to me. For example, the blood is passing inside the blood vessel. Okay. While it is passing, the blood, it just puts some pressure on the walls of the arteries or blood vessels. Okay, that pressure is called as blood pressure. You people need to understand the pressure which is created by the blood inside the blood vessel is called as blood pressure. Okay. Then the blood pressure, we heard this word in general. Many people are suffering with BP. In our home also some of our family members also suffer with BP. See here, BP is always measured in the upper arm artery. Though inside our body we have in different parts we have different readings of BPs. Actually, doctors take in a particular point, they measure the BP in a particular body part. That body part is our upper arm here. Whenever we went to the hospital, we find this. And the doctors, they use a device for measuring this BP. And that device is called as sphygmomanometer. What is that? Sphygmomanometer. We are using sphygmomanometer, not we. Doctors are using sphygmomanometers to find the BP of patients. Actually, the BP is measured in two readings. Okay, blood pressure have two readings. One is called as systolic blood pressure. Another one is called as diastolic blood pressure. Okay. Here you people need to understand what is blood pressure. The pressure which is created by the blood on the walls of the blood vessels is called as BP. And the blood pressure, it contains two readings. One is systolic blood pressure. BP means blood pressure at the time of maximum contraction of ventricles. Maximum contraction of ventricles. Whenever the ventricles are full of blood, that time maximum contraction we may find inside the heart, inside the ventricles. The blood is pumping with a lot of pressure. That is called as systolic blood pressure. In general, the reading of systolic blood pressure is 120 mm per Hg. Here Hg means mercury. Device what we are using, sphygmomanometer, it contains a stand. In that stand, the mercury is showing the BP. That's why here we mention Hg. Hg means mercury. And the second reading is called as diastolic pressure. BP at the time of maximum relaxation of ventricles. Okay, blood pressure at the time of maximum relaxation means in the ventricles there is no blood. Until the ventricles refill with blood, the ventricles are in relaxation phase and the pressure is very low. That's why we call this reading as diastolic pressure. Okay, we are showing the blood pressure readings in two ways. What are that? Systolic blood pressure and diastolic blood pressure. Here diastolic blood pressure always we show with 80 mm per Hg. That's why BP, blood pressure, is equal to 120 by 80. We have to remember, for a healthy person, the BP reading will be 120 by 80. Here 120 indicates systolic blood pressure and 80 indicates diastolic blood pressure. And BP, it just varies from person to person. I have one type of BP and you people have another type. It just varies depending on the work what we are doing, depending on the situation what we are in. Some people they are in highly excited state. Some people they are in very sad, and some people they show happiness, like that. The situation what we are in, మనమున్న situation ని బట్టి, మనం చేస్తున్న పనిని బట్టి BP అనేది vary అవుతూ ఉంటుంది. And inside our body, in different areas of our body, we can able to find different readings of BP. But a standard BP reading should be taken inside our body near to the upper arm. That is taken by the doctors. Okay. And the person who is having high BP during the resting period, the people who have high BP during resting period, they said to be as high, they are in hypertension, okay, high BP, hypertension. And the people who have low BP during resting period, they are called as hypotension. That situation what the people are facing is called as hypotension. Hypertension, hypotension. Hypertension, for example, if you connect a pipe to a tap, okay, if the water is coming with a lot of force, within a few minutes what will happen? The pipe it just disconnected with the tap. In the same manner, if BP increases inside our body, the pressure makes our arteries to disconnect from the heart. It leads to the death of the person. We take ticket to the guard easily. Okay, that's why we should not maintain high BP inside our body. I think no one don't have interest to get high BP. Okay, that's why we need to follow a healthy lifestyle. We need to adapt a healthy lifestyle to control blood pressure, to maintain normal blood pressure. And the people, sometimes they have very, very low blood pressure, and that people looking very dull, and they don't have interest to work heavy activities. It is also somewhat, this one is very dangerous. Hypertension is very dangerous. Hypotension is also leads to unconsciousness of the person who is suffering with disease. Okay, this is about blood pressure. Now it is time to discuss about coagulation of blood. In your lower classes, did you heard about the term coagulation? What is meant by coagulation? Do you have any idea? Here, coagulation is nothing but clotting. Blood clotting is also called as coagulation of blood. Then what is coagulation of blood? Actually, we all know that blood always appears in the form of a liquid. Is it right? Yes. That liquid, the process of turning the blood from liquid state to solid state, the process of turning blood to solid form is called as blood clotting or coagulation of blood. And we all know that blood is the fluid connective tissue. Why we are calling the blood as fluid connective tissue? Because from head to the feet, each and every organ is connected with the blood, and it is in the form of a liquid or fluid, and it is connecting each and every part of our body. That's why we call the blood as fluid connective tissue. And this fluid connective tissue flows inside the blood without any clotting. If the blood is present inside the blood vessel, we are not going to find any clottings. If the person is a healthy person. Okay, then see here, why the blood is able to flow in liquid form? Because blood contains a protein called as heparin. Heparin prevents the coagulation of the blood. Which protein can prevent the coagulation of the blood while the blood is moving inside the blood vessel? That is heparin. Heparin always prevents the clot of blood when the blood flows in the blood vessel. Then see here children, it is time to discuss about coagulation. For example, ourselves, we met or we cut our finger. Unfortunately, with an accident, we just cut while cutting vegetables or any fruit, we just cut our own finger. Then what will happen? Did you ever observe this situation? Did you ever faced? Yes, everyone faced this situation. Within 3 to 6 minutes of time, the blood stop flowing out of our body. And near to the injury, we are able to find, near to the cut, we are able to find a solid substance. That solid is called as blood clot. And that blood clot prevent the flow of blood from our body. If there is no blood clot near to the injury, then what will happen? All the blood present inside our body may come out. That's why it is very important whenever we get even a small injury or a severe injury, it is very important the blood need to clot near to the injury, not in the blood vessel. Okay? Injury aina chota manki blood anedi clot avvali. Not inside our blood vessels. Mana blood vessels lopala clot avvakudu. Okay? If it is not happening like that, ala avvakapothe emautundi? It leads to, sometimes that situation leads to the death of the person. That's why it is very important to know about the mechanism of blood clotting or coagulation of blood. Whenever we get injury near to any part of our body, the blood need to form a clot within 3 to 6 minutes of time depending on the size of the injury. Then see here children, we all know that inside our blood we have many materials, many useful substances and some waste materials also. And here our blood contains a type of cells called as blood platelets. Whenever we get injury, for example, we people get an injury here and the blood is flowing like this. We just got bleeding near to the injury. At this time, the blood platelets which are present inside the blood vessel are release an enzyme. They start releasing an enzyme. That enzyme is called as thrombokinase. What is the name of that enzyme which is released by blood platelets? That is thrombokinase. Repeat with me, thrombokinase. Okay. This thrombokinase enzyme in the presence of vitamin K or whenever it contacts with vitamin K, it just gets activated. Thrombokinase, it just gets activated, and that activated thrombokinase changes a substance present in our blood. In our blood we have different substances. One of that substance is 4-thrombin. In the presence of thrombokinase, okay, in the presence of thrombokinase, the 4-thrombin converted into thrombin. And in the next step, this thrombin converts the fibrinogen. Fibrinogen, actually it is also a substance which is present in a dissolved state. In the presence of thrombin, in the presence of thrombin, this fibrinogen turns into fibrin, which is in the state of insoluble, which may appears like a fibers. It just appears like this, and these fibers of fibrin entangle with each other near to the injury. It just form a entangle, a clot. That is done by the fibrin in the presence of thrombin. Okay. Fibrinogen. Actually, it is a substance of the blood. Whenever we get injury, in the presence of thrombin, it just converted into insoluble form, and that insoluble form is called as fibrin. This fibrin contains a thread-like material, fiber-like material, and that fiber-like materials entangle and they make the injury to come together. Okay, two cuts to come together. For example, we have here injury and it makes this end and this end to come together like sieves. Okay, and it closes, try to close the injury by forming a clot with blood. This is about coagulation. After the formation of clot, we find a colorless liquid that is called as serum. Like this, coagulation of blood happens inside our body whenever we get injury. I think you understood today's topic, that is blood pressure and coagulation of blood. Thank you for visiting our channel. If you like this video, please subscribe to our channel. Learn best things with Rama. Thank you all.